In this episode, I want to talk to you how you deal with being outnumbered. Either you're playing 1v2 or you're being tri-laned and you're there with your lane partner and you're really sad and you don't know what to do. I'll try and explain how I approach it. The most important thing to do in all the scenarios when you're outnumbered is to understand and recognize that you're weaker than the enemy, and all you need to do is to just farm and survive. The worst thing you can do is to die, because then the heroes that are spending a lot of time and efforts like shutting you down actually get like golden experience out of it. If you never die, that means only the carry is the one getting farmed, and both of their supports are usually like not really getting anything, and they're gonna like be under leveled. If you're 1v2, that means that you wanna fight the support 1v1 like this. In this replay, I'm trading with the DP, even though I'm not trading even. Even though I'm not losing the trades, I'm still trading even, which means that I can still like be in range of XP. I can still poke him. I'll make sure that he stays in my lane and that he can't rotate anywhere else to like gank my team. Of course, in this case, a Death Prophet is not the best ganker, but maybe they have like an Earth Spirit or some other hero that I even win the trades with. I just want to focus my efforts on always trading with the support. The carry is always going to have a bunch of gold, so he's probably going to have more stat items and can buy more regen potentially than me. So because of that, I also don't really care about what he's doing. I just have to accept the fact that he's free farming and hope that my carry on the other side is doing as well, or maybe even better. Another thing you want to do is to make sure that you can talk with your team and your position 4 player who you lane with. In this game, I tell him that I will be okay 1v2. I know that the Juggernaut is not going to kill me. I can just jump away from his spin. The Death Prophet has no real lockdown. Like worst case, I can even TP out of these heroes. There's like a lot of small things you need to like understand, because if there's no way for me to walk into this lane, maybe I would like tell him like, please, you need to come help me. I'm dying. I'm really sad. But because I'm doing okay, I need to like trust that he knows what he's doing, that he's gonna go gank other lanes. And now he's killing their offlaner while I'm still farming and doing okay in my lane. In some scenarios, if you can't even trade with the support, I would advise that you use buy boots and you try pull waves all the time. Maybe you can manage to sneak in here and just drag the wave to outside your tower. Maybe you're on a hero like Darkseer or Axe, you can just kill the wave really quickly and then worst case TP out if they come to gank you. I also suggest that you put a ward for yourself. If you're playing 1v2, it's very important to have vision of their heroes. Even if like I suspect that the DP is playing here, if I can see that he goes and pulls, it's really safe for me to just farm 1v1 against Juggernaut. Or maybe I'm fighting with the DP over here and I pull in creeps, and then I can see that the carry is running over to start attacking me. If I don't have a ward and I have no vision, it's really hard to like play around all these things, because you really don't want to die. So if you always need to play really safe, it's kind of hard to like get impact or to get farm, because you don't really know anything what's going on. But because I see the Jug here, I know I'm running up here, I'm trading with the DP a little bit. I can see that the Jug is not near me because I have this ward that sees him over here, so I can use my jump safely. If I didn't have this vision at all, you can tell like, if I didn't see the Jug at all, right now, he would go blind. And I don't know, maybe he's running like this with face puts, he's going from above, maybe he's trying to like cut me from behind because he's expecting me to jump or something like that. But because I have this ward, I see he's just running straight at me, I know that I can queue like safely right now. And also because of all my trading, my Earth Spirit decides to come back to my lane, and we get this free kill on Death Prophet, and I get to pull this wave for free. Going even further back, if I never traded with Death Prophet and I only played defensive and ran away from him, I also would never be in this position in the first place where I could even pull the wave. Because I'm always fighting him and I'm forcing him to respect me, I can get easy access to the creep wave and to drag it around. But if I'm playing over here in the trees, or I'm like hiding all the time and just trying to farm the lane, maybe I'll get 1 or 2 CS here and there, but I'll never be able to like fully farm creep waves. Another thing is also because I'm pressuring him, free access to bounty runes. I could stack camps if I wanted to. Let's say I had a mag PA on my team, I could like, instead of fighting here, I'd go back, stack the camps, grab bounties, have impact in that way. Maybe I'm playing a hero like Sanking, for example. I know that I can even kill this wave all the time. Like I can stack for myself, kill these stacks. Maybe I'm playing like a faster hero. Maybe I'm playing some stupid thing like Earth Spirit off lane. Well, my laning is really weak, but I know I can gank mid as well. So by playing aggressive and playing here, maybe I can like go and kill here. Maybe I can ward aggressively. There's like a lot of things you can do instead of just sitting in the trees. The last thing that I want to mention is that even if you do die, you need to like understand that you're like kind of on the, you're starting to like give a snowball effect. You're kind of like falling downhill, and if you keep dying, it's just gonna get worse and worse. So a better thing to do than to stay in the lane and keep dying, if you feel like you have no place at all in this lane, is you just go help out some other lane. Maybe like, let's say in this lane, I'm getting completely zoned. Maybe I'm like getting destroyed, I can't even walk up the creeps. It's really sad. in this scenario, maybe I can like farm this creep, buy an Orb of Venom, and I can TP top, and then I do the same thing to their Chaos Knight, where he also can't lane. And instead of being in the scenario where their offlaner's laning and I'm getting shut down, I'm like using myself to shut him down as well. And then you're like kind of creating a equal position instead of like being on the back end. Because my hero is also a weaker laner than Chaos Knight, like I'm like fine with that scenario. Some heroes you play like Beastmaster or Axe, they can farm jungle instead. So instead of rotating, I'll just go jungle. Like even if you're level 3, you're playing Venom, you're playing Beast, you're playing Axe. Instead of feeding on the lane, you can walk over here. You stack these camps for yourself, buy a Quelling Blade, like farm these camps all the time. You tell your team, I'm leaving bottom. Maybe a support can go there and take XP. If the Jug starts pushing the tower, like he's gonna get frustrated, he's not laning against anyone. Maybe you can TP back there and like keep farming them. Just make sure that you never die and that that you're not just sitting AFK in the trees leeching experience. Even if your lane is going really poorly and maybe your support that's rotating out is not getting any kills and you made a terrible decision, you know, like everybody's human, you can't always expect your teammates to play perfectly. I think you gotta kind of make the best, even here, he missed this stone. You gotta kind of make the best of the situation. You gotta like be like mentally strong and understand that the game goes on and it's not over like in 6 minutes. Even if I would have died a bunch of times, like right now I died 0 times, you know, I'm very happy. If you look at net worth, I think I'm probably not that far behind like the Chaos Knights. And sure, the Juggernaut is really far ahead, but I also look at my Earth Spirit, he's like way more farmed than their supports. So there's always like some upside to what's happening, even if it's bad for me. I think you need to understand that if you like start tilting and you maybe start yelling at your team or you start like blaming the Earth Spirit for not helping me out, you're only going to create a situation that's worse for your team, even though it maybe feels good to yourself to like let some anger out. It's not going to let you like win the game, or it's not going to make it like more fun for anyone to play. Like he's just going to be annoyed at you, you're going to be angry at him. A lot of games I play, I get really frustrated with my supports. I think to myself, this guy is really bad, you know, like I wish I didn't have to play with this guy, but at the same time I recognize like I'm probably one of the world's best offlane players. I can't expect people to play on the same level as me. I just suck it up and like in voice chat, instead of saying, are you like complete idiot, I just say like, it's okay man, like we'll keep playing from here, like don't worry. And that creates like a situation where people want to do better and they want to help you out, instead of feeling like, oh, this guy's just flaming me anyway, I don't care if he dies. So it's like, just stay nice and stay positive, pretty much. So I've already shown you guys how to approach the game when you're playing 1v2. And I want to show another game when we're playing against a tri-lane. There's a couple of things to mention here. One, it's a game from TI9, so it's a very like high stakes game, super important group stage match for us. And two, because it's also from TI9, it's like over a year ago, so the game was a little bit different. You can see I have a stout shield, which you can't buy anymore. The map looks a little bit different. We even have a 5-minute shrine, so these things I'm not going to go into too much. But it's important to understand that even though tri-laning is not that meta right now, or even the game is different back then, these things that I say are still concepts that's going to like last forever, or like how you want to say it. It's not something that changes depending on how the game changes. It's always going to be the same. So the first thing you want to do when you play against a tri-lane is that you want to expect that you might get tri-lane. If you're playing Sanking against Anti-Mage, you know that he's a lot stronger than you in the lane. It's very common for people to tri-lane you. If they have a carry like Sven, a very strong tri-lane carry, heroes that people almost never tri-lane with is like Spectre or TB, because these heroes are just going to go into the jungle and farm anyway, whereas heroes like Anti-Mage rely a lot on their like Battle Fury timing and their like them being able to play aggressive and not getting ganked instead. So the first thing we do right now is that we scout and we play aggressive, and I think to myself, oh nice, like nobody's playing aggressive on us. Even sometimes people zone you here, and if people zone you like from the start, or if you think that they're going to zone you from the start, maybe they have some Ogre, Mirana, like a really strong level 1 duo. I sometimes even tell my post 5 to walk with us top, so we start as a tri-lane, and then as soon as we're into the lane and the lane starts, you can just TP back bottom. Because your carry is never really going to be pressured like the first wave under the tower, extremely hard to stop him from farming. So you can tell your support to walk with you if you're really scared, or if you want to fight the bounty runes, maybe you are already fighting here as 3 people, just tell him to stick around for a first blood or to help you get into the lane. What happens when you tri-lane is that the carry is always going to freeform, and you want to make sure that you never die, and that you, like if you have to die, because in 2v3 maybe you have a way to kill the enemy, at least if you're trading even. In 1v2 I would suggest that you almost never play the trade, even if you die for a support. It's like, it's not really worth it. You should be able to lane against the support, and it's better for you not to die, because if you die next time you have no TP, and it's really, really bad. However, when you're playing 2 versus 3, even if I die, my Dark Willow is still in the lane, So even if I die and TP out, like he will still get experience and gold during the time that I'm gone. And the difference is in tri-lanes, they have a lot more kill potential than you because they're 2 supports and the carry can connect. So you want to be focusing on like fighting the supports on the side and as far away from the carry as possible. So even if the carry blinks on me and starts hitting me, because he's missing creep kills and farm over here, he wants to run back like as soon as possible to start farming. He can't like always zone us. So instead of playing in the lane up here and trying to last it and drag waves, I'm kind of just sitting in trees, like waiting for an opportunity when we can play aggressive. So I walk in Sandstorm, we manage to kill their sentry. It's also something that's changed, you can't eat sentries anymore, but doesn't really matter. The gist of it is basically we ignore the carry and we just fight the supports all the time. So you can see even now the Leshrac is trying to kill me, I'm just running away. And in this scenario, I know the AM is gonna miss creep kills if he stays here. So he's gonna start to having to go back. Like even though he kills me here and we're really low, he misses a creep kill. Like I'm gonna be full HP mana, I can bring items. It's not like the worst thing in the world because my Dark Will is still in the lane. So even if I was to die now again, like hopefully we'll play in a way where we trade out like this. We kill the Leshrac, we're playing aggressive, we manage to pull to the hard camp. Like instead of just playing safe and never dying, we're making things happen, we're playing aggressive. I can use all of my HP and mana and I can die and then I can TP out again and I can use all of my HP and mana. And as long as we get some kills or we get the creep wave, like you're getting something, you're getting golden experience, you're not just like level 1 getting zoned at the tower. You can see that they're both trying to zone us really aggressively, like we're always fighting, but the aim is in the tower over here, he has to last it. We have like a big wave pushing, I talked about this previously, if you have a big creep wave as well, you can manipulate the lane. It's very hard for the carry to help out, and 2v2, you know, sanking Dark Willow against Grimstroke and Leshrac, we're not maybe super stronger, but we're not weaker. So it's all about like trying to avoid fighting 2v3 and trying to take like the 2v1 or the 2v2 fights. And another thing as well is if we can control this side, or you can pull waves, it's really, really good. Now it's hard because of aim has a blink, but sometimes they have a carry that it's harder to connect. You can kind of just play here and drag waves all the time. So it's important to like understand what strengths their lane has and what strengths your lane has. And because I have Sandstorm as well, this is kind of cheating, this doesn't exist anymore. But because I have Sandstorm as well, it's really easy for me to farm stacks and farm camps. So even worst case, if we're not able to lane, I'll tell my support to just go stack camps and rotate out. And I'll just start jungling. Like maybe a few minutes later, this one will be triple stacked, I can kill this camp. Maybe he can go mid and bottom and help out, and their supports have nothing to do up here. As soon as they see us running away, they're also going to run away, and maybe then we can go back into the lane. And you want to keep like pushing and pulling in a way where you're not always doing the same thing. You're not like being predictable and staying in the lane and losing the lane. If you're losing a lane, you always want to make sure that you change things up and make something different happen. So you can tell even in this lane, like the aim is very farmed, you know, he has a high net worth, he's highest in the game. But at the same time, my Faceless Void is also really, really farmed. And the good thing about Faceless Void against AM is that Void is a lot better at killing AM. So like our carry matchup is really good. We're happy if both carriers get really, really farmed. The worst thing we can have is if our Void has no items and then the AM has no items, because then the rest of the team is probably like stronger than us. So you can see even here, they're diving really aggressively. All I'm doing is playing really, really safe, and we're just trying to like keep it together. We want to defend our tower. They dive a little bit too far, we bait a few TPs, our Void TPs in, Cronus their carry, we get like a kill on him. And all of a sudden, even though the lane felt really, really hard a few minutes ago, like the aim is now really sad. He like TP'd out, the Void TP'd up and killed him, and he died. And now the Void can lane up here, and he has to decide, okay, what do I want to do right now? You can even see him sitting in the base thinking. He's not sure if he wants to lane against like Void or not. He TP's bottom, I TP bottom as well, because I know that the Void is stuck top, something that's also important. You don't really want to stay together on another lane. And I go bottom and die, so this is not really top tier performance. But at the same time, my Void is free farming, they're not pressuring him. Like, I'm already very underfarmed, it's not the biggest deal. What's important is to make sure that the cores that already have good games, that they can continue having good games, and that I slowly just get my farm back without taking too many risks. The most common mistakes I see when people play in like outnumbered lanes is that they try and play too aggressive and they die, and then once they die like once or twice, they get a little bit tilted and they blame their team. I think it's important that you play safe and try not to take too many risks and to like stay mentally strong. If it turns out that you're really unable to lane or you can't figure it out, there's no way for you to get lane control or walk into the lane, you're just getting zoned all the time. Maybe it's just because the enemy team has a lot stronger heroes than you. Maybe you need to understand like my hero is going to be good later. Their heroes are just good at like winning the lane right now. In like 10-20 minutes I'm going to be strong again, so I don't need to like worry too much. Other things you can do instead of just laning is like maybe we can go gank mid, I can camp runes, the top rune, like the 4 and 6 minute rune right now, it's very common for me that I walk over and help my mid laner as an off laner even. You can push out the lane and walk over there and maybe you get a kill. You can stack camps in jungle like Sanking and Axe. It's very easy to just fall back to the jungle, and then instead of you being pressured in the lane and you being like annoyed, instead it's like on their supports to play aggressive and play smart. So even though like maybe they can chase you into the jungle and they can kill you and they can be annoying, at least they have to make decisions and you're making the game harder for them and you're being like more annoying by not just giving them what they want, which is a bunch of kills. And I think the last point is, as well, is to remember that your team is still being strong and your carry is farming, and to ask your teammates for TPs. Like if they're diving you, you can even bait. People like to, when they're winning the lane, they like to play really aggressive, so maybe they will dive us under the tower. I can show even here, like the tower is really low, we dive up and we TP in and we kill them. These kind of things is very, very common when you're playing from behind. So you need to be ready to ask for TPs or even tell your team 10 or 20 seconds beforehand, they're gonna dive me top, be ready to help me, something like that.